History doesn't usually happen the exact same way twice, but it often follows a similar pattern. Right now, things are starting to feel a lot like the past. Voices of Israel haters, like Tucker Carlson and Candace Owens, to academics like John Mearsheimer and Jeffrey Sachs, suggest that the United States is being lured or pressured into a conflict with Iran by pro-Israel interests. They argue that this isn't America's fight. But if we look back to the 1930s, we see the exact same blueprint of denial. In the 1930s, a significant segment of Western society dismissed the threat of Nazi Germany. High-ranking officials and journalists believed Hitler could be tamed, viewing his aggression as merely a quest to right the wrongs of the First World War. Even British Prime Minister Neville Chamberlain famously described Hitler as a man who can be relied upon. In the U.S., the America First Committee championed the idea that Europe's problems were not America's business. The sentiment was overwhelming. In September 1939, 90% of Americans opposed war. Even as late as 1940, 80% wanted to stay out. When the pressure to intervene grew, the blame was shifted. Figures like Charles Lindbergh claimed the greatest danger came from Jewish influence in film, press, and government, accusing them of pushing America into a war that wasn't theirs. But while the public debated Jewish influence, the threat was already at the door. Hitler wasn't just focused on Europe. He ordered the development of the America bomber, a long-range aircraft designed specifically to strike U.S. coastal cities. On American soil, the Duquesne spy ring was already operating, working to sabotage industry and steal military secrets. Hitler didn't see the U.S. as a bystander. He saw an inevitable rival that would eventually have to be confronted. Fast forward to today, we see the same dismissal of intent. When thousands in Tehran chant "Death to America" alongside "Death to Israel," many Western commentators brush it off as mere revolutionary theater, empty slogans not meant for action. Yet the technical reality tells a different story. Much like the America bomber of the past, Iran's missile program is expanding. Reports now suggest Iran has been hiding the true power of its missiles. They've tested weapons that can reach Diego Garcia military base, which means huge parts of Europe are now within their reach. In the 1930s, the journalists and politicians who warned of the Nazi threat were smeared as warmongers by isolationists. They were accused of dragging the West into an unnecessary slaughter. Today, those who point to Iran's nuclear infrastructure and its stated goals face the exact same accusations. The lesson of the 1940s was learned only after Pearl Harbor, after the threat became a catastrophe. If history is a guide, the question isn't whether we are being lured into a conflict. The question is whether we are choosing to ignore a conflict that has already found us.